Have you ever done something so long it's systematic? It's in the background. It's white noise. It's not even work anymore. You've just trained yourself to do it, unconsciously. Let's talk about it. UnPanders. So I'm Dan.
And I'm Nick, folks.
We're old friends dissecting one topic at a time. People, technology, media, we've got it all covered.
Each discussion here is a deep dive into our unique perspective. Taboo, forbidden subjects, they're all on the chopping block, baby. We don't pander to popular opinion. We might even get a little bit dirty.
Warning, this podcast may contain mature language and sexual content, and is for infotainment purposes only.
So join us. Have a good time.
Open up your ear holes, because we're going to fondle your follicles. Okay. So here we are. Once again, I'm Dan.
I'm Nick, folks.
Oh. And we're the UnPanders.
Together, just this unlikely duo.
Unlikely indeed.
Unlikely.
Having come from the same place, being born around the same time.
Going to a lot of the same facilities.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Sitting
folks.
next to each other in classes, several classes, back to back to back.
For several years.
So spontaneous.
Likely. How crazy is that?
Yeah, it's so strange. Huh. So let's talk about me.
Whoa!
I love me.
Pop it off.
So I've been doing this thing for like years. It's so secretive I can't talk about it. No, it's a trading bot. Which
a trading bot. You can trade like eBay?
I kind of probably would do that if I was 5 years older. 5 years ago, I might have done an eBay trading bot.
There.
Take from China, sell in the U.S. Money.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So what is this bot? Different.
Crypto,
Totally different.
stock. It's kind of like high-frequency trading, but a little slower. Mid-frequency trading.
Mid-frequency. I think you just coined that term. That's pretty interesting, actually. Nice.
I wish. I hope so. Mid-frequency trading.
You're working on a bot that buys and sells stock? Sounds pretty risky.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think so.
Ooh. It's just money?
You can. Who cares about money? I feel like if you bought and held, like you're pretty much flat. Like you might gain a bit, you might lose a bit, but relative to how much you could possibly make, it's almost like insignificant.
Negligible?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like my losses would come from the fees incurred while trading, which have been reduced significantly through crypto as well as the stockbrokers exchanges that don't charge you a fee. So, but I mean, like a long time ago, I made this thing, and I've been doing it for years. Like when I was 22-ish, I would have spreadsheets that would check all the stock prices, and I didn't have the skills or the know-how to make a program that would do it for me.
Or the technology as well.
Yeah, well, technology wasn't there. Like the computer that I have built for this thing, it didn't exist. I don't think until 4 years ago that you could build something like that.
Do you want to talk about this build at all?
No. Well, I guess I could.
Why not? Someone gets like, that's proprietary. And actually, it interests me as I built my own PC.
Yeah.
So I noticed you were buying parts. And I was like, holy shit, you bought a what?
Mm-hmm.
So you bought, what would you say you focused on a little bit? RAM here?
Yeah.
RAM?
So
random
I
access
bought
memory.
a stock machine because it was such a good price. Like Alienware, I do not endorse Alienware. I condone. No, it's not. It's not great. It comes with a whole bunch of handcuffs, and it's really, really shitty. But when I bought it, the sum of the components was more than the computer actually was, because I stacked on like 5 different rebates and then discounts on top of discounts. So it was.
I think it had an overheating problem at one point, but that's fine. We're going to skip right through that.
Yeah. Well, I had to tweak it like I always would. I knew I could make it work. So yeah, so I stuffed that thing full of RAM. I added 64 gigs in there. It's crazy. I always wanted a reason. So this is also part of it, is that I've always wanted to do things that are automated to take care of the bullshit and minutia that I didn't want to do. And also, I always wanted to be like towards technology in a way that like made sense of like buying and spending money on technology. So
Makes sense.
Finally being able to like use like my program uses like 60 gigs of RAM when it runs.
Good Lord. I don't even know a program that uses like 1 gig of RAM, let alone uses all that.
Yeah. So I don't like that didn't exist. I'm kind of making me kind of curious now. And then also like I'm starting to look into different things that just don't like you don't normally look at. Like yesterday I was talking about getting a second internet connection as like a failsafe.
Interesting.
And they make routers that are like failsafe so that either internet connection can work.
How does it guarantee that one's going to work? Out of curiosity. Because doesn't it depend on the feed from outside?
If there are two different types of like wires coming in your house and one of them fails, it will have a backup. But if both of them fail, you can't do anything. Yeah, it will pick which one is active.
Okay. The more active, better connection.
Yeah, it'll load balance too. I think it'll like split between them, which is kind of nuts to think about. So
what are you building? Some supercomputer that trades stock for you? Is that what you're telling us?
Yes.
To put it simply, yes.
Yeah. No, it's a program that like constantly watches the prices and then does some sort of crazy math and analytics to figure out what it thinks is the best trade to make. Interesting. And it records
now,
it.
How often does it buy or trade? Every 5 seconds? Every hour? Every day? What are you talking?
It varies. It's like usually it's monitoring like 14 different things, 14 different individual cryptocurrencies. So it trades them like once or twice a day. Sometimes it holds on to them for like under 30 minutes. Sometimes it's like 8 hours. Depends on what it's looking at.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's not high frequency, it's mid frequency. I like that.
And it's not really day trading. I guess stocks, you could say day trading, but there's like a weird rhythm to stocks that like it opens in the morning and there's a lot of activity, and then by the end of the day, people want to like
by closing
pull their money back and protect it, and there's rhythms to it. But crypto happens all the time, everywhere, and it's really the prices are induced by like global things, as well as all those people that are like stashing billions and billions of dollars in crypto.
Did you have to find out these patterns, these rhythms? Did you?
So this kind of started like back when I was 22, when I didn't have this like the skill set, but I had like the interest in it, not necessarily the drive to do it, but like I kind of like threw together a spreadsheet.
You were like, oh, interesting.
Yeah, like there's pieces there, but there's no way to do like mental calculations on this stuff. Like you can kind of you kind of like eyeball it. And then like the first iteration was a spreadsheet. The second one was just like taking stocks. And then the third one was like taking all that data and just like crunching it and then doing statistics. And then the version after that was like taking it and then like trying to like threshold them and like figure out like, oh, if it's like above this or below that, that doesn't work either. So it becomes very tricky. It's impossible to give hard numbers on that sort of thing. So
trying to put facts and numbers and data on the eyeball test a little
bit. Yeah, you're trying to. Anytime you put hard numbers on this bullshit, it doesn't. Like someone's going to game you in the end.
Sure, because then your numbers are out there, and your numbers are an algorithm. If someone knows the algorithm, they can cheat your algorithm.
Exactly. So what I did next was I took like all of the known trading algorithms. There's like 50 of them. And I traded all of them because I thought there has to be one that works.
Works better than the others, at least.
Yeah. So I went through that list, and like 40 of them were garbage, like absolute garbage at figuring out whether the price is
just like bullshit, whatever.
There's so much garbage. I bet what I think happened is somebody in the past coined an indicator and said that's what they were using, but they really weren't using it. I bet they put it out there so other people would use it, and then they could game those people.
Could be.
I think that's what happened. So that also failed because it was using like hard numbers. So the next one I made was like ultra dynamic in so many ways. It like varies based on like from minute to minute. It's different, so it varies a lot.
Hence 60 gigs of RAM.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it holds on to all the possibilities. So all the possibilities from like months back.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what's the whole goal here? Is this for you personally, for people in general? You want to sell something to an end user, a bigwig?
It's for me personally to make money off my own money. And then B,
Hell
there's
yeah.
going to be a website. There's a website that will help other people trade too.
With a subscription fee. Hell yeah.
You get a few free. Like you can look at them up to a certain number and then it gets cut off.
How do you know someone's not gaming your game and trying to decode your algorithm, et cetera, et cetera?
Because it's slower.
How's it protected?
They're not going to figure it out.
How can they not figure it out? I mean, what if they have super servers and super cooled, et cetera, and then put to work trying to figure out your secrets?
By the time I have enough attention that someone else is trying to crack my code, I will have made enough money that I'll be fine. Yeah. And it'll be like I think it'll, at that point, I'll just be like, huh. Like they did it.
Interesting. You got it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I think I'll be good.
It's weird. So the only thing that tells me, though, is that this doesn't seem like a full-time thing, like a lifetime thing. Like you're not going to spend your life doing this. Or would you create a new one after that one got cracked, let's say? I have no idea.
Oh, my goal? I think in the beginning, I was like, I'll figure this out. I'll get enough money and I'll retire. Like I'll be free and I'll do whatever I want. I think I kind of want an empire. Does this sound conquerish?
Well, you listen to those podcasts where it's like, what creates a genius or what creates a super person or Jeff Bezos, what he does in his day to day.
Jackoff the biggest cock in the room.
You do tend to enjoy the biggest cock in the room, don't you?
Yeah, it's my own.
And you want to know how it works and how it got there, et cetera, right?
Yeah.
So is this kind of like your, not fixation? Oh, jeez. Your fixation. You love that big cock. You love that big juicy cock.
Big money cocks, yeah.
But you do, it interests you outside of just the money. It's an interesting thing to you, a facet.
Yeah. There's something with the automation of things, like building something, creating something, and laying it out in a plan that gets executed without me having to interfere or change things. There's something about that is just wired. Yeah, it's like
sexy.
It's like when you set up dominoes and you watch all the dominoes fall. Like that is
fall. Jesus Christ, they're all falling. Right,
Goldberg machines, just like ding, ding, ding. It's awesome.
It's interesting. Like I have no desire for that in my life. I mean, I think we share a lot of things in common, but I really don't. I'm not like, oh, I wish I could do it. I'm like, nah, I don't even wish I could do that.
You don't wish you could build something, create something, and then put it out there, and then people like it and use it?
No, I would love that, like a music or something like that, but like not like an automated program. I don't know. And I want to explore the difference between those things. So you want something that will, like, why is it based in money? Is money the thing?
Because money is like the fastest moving thing in the world. If you really think about it.
Sure, it's the most desired thing in the world because it buys other things.
Yeah.
It's literally the portal to buy things, right?
Yeah, it provides you the most data to look at. The most available data to look at.
It's probably the tallest mountain because the most people are trying to get it, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So you want to conquer the biggest mountain. You want to see like, hey, everyone's fucking trying to win this. What if I did it? Like me, myself. I figured it out. I cracked the code. Is that kind of behind that? I have no idea.
I think so too. So this is also like conquering myself. And in college, I took a route that would have taught me programming and all this stuff, but like the social aspect of it just made it so I was like, this doesn't feel right. So I switched majors. And then I kind of like ran into these people that were like the epitome of, I guess, software engineering. Like the super, not the super nerds, because I like some nerds I actually like, but the people that put you down. They use programming to like make like belittle you. And that always got to me. And I never, like, I dropped it from age like 19 until like 25-ish when I started to pick it up again. And then I like learned on my own and did it my way. And I was like, this makes more sense than other garbage that I've seen.
It's weird. I do podcasts with you. I know you very personally. I don't know what languages you know or don't know, or how far into them you know. Like, do you know a little bit of Python? Do you know a little bit of all these things? Like, do you know vaguely? Like, you can recognize them, or how's it work
I
with you?
could recognize them. I know Java the most. I know C++ and C Sharp. And some other
But
ones
you don't.
I could
Do you code with them at all, or no?
I code with Java and C++ every day.
Oh, do you? Okay, so you're pretty familiar with them.
Yeah. It's not even by choice, really. I don't know if I would have, if this profession, my profession didn't pay as much money as it does. Like, I don't know that I would get into it the way I wouldn't do it for a job. I would put it that way.
Fair. But your job happened to need them to be employed. So occasionally you run into them in big runs. Makes sense.
Yeah. And it's not a bad world to be in because you get your own little bubble and you can hide in it.
Yeah, like if no one, it's a language. It's literally a language. It's something that's pretty specific. Either you know the language or you don't. You can't bullshit your way into a language.
Exactly.
Haha, I think I friggin' know. Just a little colon, weird parentheses symbol.
Curly bracket.
Yeah, bracket. Thank you. Couldn't remember the word. That's funny. But you can't bullshit it. Like it is what you know or what you don't know.
Yeah, my current place of employment gives you a test, and honestly, to get employed there, I took that test and I failed the beginning part hard, and then the second question was just something I do every day. So it was a nice solid 100% on 50% of it, and I was like, yeah, I kind of bunted it out of the park.
yeah. I mean, it counts because then you got a 20% on the other part, and that's 70. You're hitting 70. You know what I mean? Hitting 700.
The interesting part is that my job, I guess my previous job was shit because I programmed all the time and they didn't want anything more out of me. This job, they want everything out of me. So now I'm interviewing people. I get to see the tests that other people do. And then I realize that some of these people are awful. They have an hour. This is not shitting on them. They have an hour to do something. And it's just Google it. I don't know why these people don't search for an answer and type in stuff because they type what's equivalent of 2 sentences in an hour and then quit and then get 0. And it's you said you were you could speak this language, but obviously not. And you don't even have the energy to go forth and try to cheat a little bit. It's not even cheating.
No,
you're allowed to Google.
I will say that the people who you're talking about probably feel like they are cheating and they don't want to do it that way. But in your mind, in your world, in your way of looking at life, it's kind of you should cheat because the result is the end goal. However you get there, whether it's people have designed A to B to C to D to F to G to get all the way to here. If you can find a shorter route, like A to D
What's
to
cheating?
F again,
is that even cheating?
It's not cheating. Yeah. It's literally finding a shorter route or route, depending on which company you deliver toilet paper for. But the thing is, end goal is the only important thing here. So if company A wants you to do something B, you find the quickest way to do it, even if it might be cheating, botting, whatever. And I think it's interesting because some people will say they don't do that, and it's like a highbrow thing. I would never take that route because it skips a step or two. And it's you're no, I just want to get to the end goal. We're doing it quicker. We're just trying to get there. I'm doing it. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Is that kind of how you look at that? And a lot of people waste a lot of time, a lot of steps. Is that what you're saying a little bit?
So this also goes with what I my job 10 years ago. The job was not that hard, so I did it. And I was just there needs to be more. And I started writing things to automate my own job so that it would write all my paperwork for me and order things for me. And at a certain point, it was all automated. And I looked around and all these other people, either they took up the whole time to do what I was doing in half the time, not even with the bot, or, they were walking around talking to people, chatting them up and just networking and stuff, which is okay.
Sure. It's its own thing.
Yeah. But those people didn't have, I keep saying didn't have the skill. It's didn't have the drive to try to do something else. or try to do it in a way that like made it advantageous for them. And the rewards, like you start to reap them far, far down the line. So you can't even like do this with the intention of getting rewards. Like you have to do it just kind of like because you like it and you can see a future in it, maybe. And then if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I don't think I'd be where I am now without someone playing Clash of Clans and showing it to me and saying, make like I think you can write something to make this game play itself. And then
do you want to talk about your Clash of Clans spot, which was revolutionary, by the way? I was in that clan.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
Big Dookie.
I forgot the name of the clan. Good Lord, we had some real connections there. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was a good clan.
Yeah,
it was insane. It was one of those things that there's a scheme. It's exactly like reality and jobs and all that bullshit. Because there's a scheme that someone puts out there in a game that requires you to put in X amount of time to get, a little bit further. So I was like, screw that. I'm just going to have it like collect my money for me. And then I said, screw that. I'm going to have it attack and take money from other
bots.
people. And then I decided like I can help other people because I'm flush with cash now. So I started making it so that other people can request troops and donate troops. And it was kind of insane because that level of difficulty in programming, like people don't normally like. Even now, I look at people like my own age and I go, this sounds elitist, but I go, like, you're not even, like, you're older than me and you don't get, like, these principles, like the way things communicate, how to make them communicate better, how to use things so they're inherent. Like, all of that stuff is just kind of, like, very difficult to learn, I guess, unless you force yourself to do it all by yourself and you realize that, like, in a company, you're doing a very small little portion and you don't understand the effects of what you're doing outside of your little bubble.
Not to put layman's terms in here, but you're talking about cheating.
Cheating?
It's so weird to say that, and I'm not even saying it in a bad term.
Cheating at Clash of Clans, yeah.
Yeah, of cheating in general. You're talking about cheating. You're talking about finding the shortcut. You're cutting out the middleman, cutting the bullshit, right? Would you say that? And just finding a way to make this automated, finding a way to make this happen automatically, just quicker, make it happen faster. Everyone knows the steps here. We're cutting out the middleman. We're trying to move quicker. We're trying to move to the next step. You're trying to advance it to the next area. And it's funny that some people will call it cheating. Some people will say, oh, that's not really the spirit of the game. But what's the spirit of the game in general? I mean, this applies to the job. This applies to Clash of Clans. This applies to your bot. This applies to everything. You seem to love to whittle down the excess, which is totally a unique thing. It's definitely a positive thing.
It's a Dan trait.
It is. It so is. I don't make anything that automates anything. In fact, I've been known to take longer to do things and take the harder road and literally suffer more on purpose. People are like, you can just do this. I'm like, no, it's fine. I'm going to do this. Like it's a dad trait, an alcoholic. No, alcoholic dad trait, I call it, where you have your tie that fits on sideways and you're wearing your suit that barely fits and you're like, no, it's fine. I'm going to do it this way. And someone's like, you can kind of take a shortcut here. And I'm like, nope, let's go full bore. And someone's like, it's going to be worse. And I'm going to be like, good. Like there's something I do that's opposite.
The weirdness in what you said is the amount of time I put automating things. Sometimes it definitely doesn't pay off. It's not shorter.
Instantaneous. Of course, It's not. Well, when you're making it, it's not instantaneous for you. For you, you're actually putting in the work. So I commend that. You're doing that to make work easier, either in the future or for other people or for other things.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
And that kind of leads into like the empire building part of it. Because there's so many people out there that like, do you think like Google or Apple or Netflix or Nvidia, like any of those people, like any of those companies, the CEOs, like the CEOs aren't doing the work. They're telling other people to do the work. And what they're hoping is that other people find my ways of doing it.
Slack and find shortcuts.
Yeah. And then make it automated, make it somehow like analytical so that it becomes like almost an equation. Like you just plug in numbers and get the result for like the product that they provide. Maybe not Apple, but because their products are pieces of shit. But
their programming,
yeah,
their
but
code,
but they're doing the same thing with like an operating system. It's like they're just hoping that they built so much into it that A, they don't have any competitors, and B, they can roll out new versions over and over and over and over again.
Proprietary. Is that a word? Proprietary.
Yeah.
They're just banking on that someone's going to use their nomenclature, their code, their world to make another product. Yeah. So that they've made a world so good and so easy to use that, hey, make the next step. You make the next step. And guess what? When you make the next step, it's only proprietary to my system. It doesn't equate to everyone. So it's like, hey, thanks. Fuck you. Mm-hmm. So what ultimately is the goal here? What's going on with the system here?
The weird thing is I've been doing it for so long that like almost every week I'll program like at night, and that seems weird. Like
out of curiosity, I've never programmed at night. Is this everyone goes to bed, you go downstairs or wherever, sit upstairs, you sit in front of the computer, and you pull up some stuff and you spreadsheets and you get to work. You get to
I like how like abstract and amorphous this is. It's like,
well, because I'm curious. I really don't know.
It's usually that A, I don't want to do it. So B, like I'm trying to procrastinate. In my mind, I'm like, I could do other things.
This literally is 100% how it feels to work out. But
yes, I do.
No, 100%.
Yeah, no.
I'm like, I don't want to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to put it off. You procrastinate. You're like, you set aside time for yourself. You're like this. Yeah, I'll do it at 10. And it's like 10:01. And you're like, just do one more thing and then I'll do it. You know?
Yeah.
Can't drink before you do it. You can't do this before you do it. It's like you have to set aside time. It's in a room.
Can't be interrupted.
Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, you can't be interrupted. Yes, 100%. This is like working out. This is like, I'm going to do a run and a workout. I can't drink. I can't do this. I can't do this. I got to set aside time. Let's not do it. Let's not do it. Let's not do it. Fuck, I'm going to do it. So what happens?
So I guess on the rough nights, I usually sit down and there's usually like a problem or two that's already known. And I kind of sit there a little bit and think about it. And then like, I usually like slowly make changes, and this is most prevalent when I like do something and stop and come back to it months later, where like I feel, even though it's my own language and I've written all of it. God
damn, you gotta get back into it.
It's so cumbersome. You just like, while you're cursing yourself. Yeah, you're like, what the
like, God
hell?
Damn it! I didn't lay groundwork to figure out what was going on.
There's a reason why that I've done things the way I've done them, and like to walk over those steps, it takes just the same. Like if I were to change like the main mechanism in my program, it would take me a month to rewrite it. It's not easy. Like, and the way it's interconnected is if I break like one of the chains, it's going to like be unwieldy and not controllable. So why do you do this instead of play video games or text your friends or watch something new on Netflix? Honestly, I don't want to work until I'm 60.
So you'd rather work now?
My goal is to start my own business, and then if it makes enough money, I could do whatever the fuck I want.
It makes sense. No, this is totally cool. Yeah. But I guess my thought is that no matter what I did at any point and worked extra hard and did something after hours, that it wouldn't negate me like not working from 60 to 71 or whatever the hell I'm going to work till.
I think I realized that.
You do. And it's interesting. You're planning ahead. It's about future proofing.
Yeah. So
who will you be at that age though? I'm just really curious.
I don't want to be old and not be able to do the things I want to do.
So are you 70 yet?
In my maturity? What do you want to talk?
No, God damn it. Just in age. No, if you doubled your age are you 70?
Yeah. Middle-aged?
No, if you doubled your age, you're not 70 yet still.
No.
So isn't that fucking weird? You literally will live a whole nother life until you're that age.
That's awesome.
And
this is the summer. This is like getting out of school when you're in grade school and being like, I have 3 months of forever to live.
So you're planning for these 3 months, but I will say, you don't know who you're going to be. I'm not even telling. I'm not trying to dissuade you at all. I think this is a great idea. It's a great plan. I just don't know who are you saving money for?
So this
70-year-old you? That's
no, that's a little too old. I'm gonna save money for my 40-year-old me.
Ah, now we're getting close. So it's like
5-year
10
plan.
years from now. 5-10 years. Okay.
And a lot of people say that like when they retire, like when people who retire young, they completely lose like the drive to play video games and all that stuff because they like it's just like empty for them. So this is
what do they do?
I don't know. Like these people, they're probably whiners, but this is the way I felt for a long time is that I wanted to just like do something and be successful and then like ride it out. But now I think if I have enough like revenue stream to support my other interests, I now see that from the time you graduate college up until nowish, you really don't understand how people are using you. Like you feel corporations are using you, but I see people that make, 20, 40K less, and they don't know that they could make, 20 or 40K more. Sure. So like, it's easy to say like I could hire people out of college and they probably would do a good job and I'd be able to like build companies on that, which is kind of a shitty thing to do, but everyone does it. All the companies I worked for are doing exactly that. So I don't think it's that hard to build a company that has revenue that is like cash flow positive and just like have it keep like going. So I think what I would want is an empire, like I said before, probably like a little media empire, something that's like an online empire. There's multiple empires here. The trading thing, and then merge it with like my love of video games. Like I'd like to make a video game studio and then merge that with some sort of like digital art or like some sort of like animation studio, because they all kind of like, if you think about it, they all become like one giant ball. So you have like computer graphics, video games, film, you could do animation. If you can get all of those things in one place, like I feel like that's going to be magic.
It definitely feeds into itself and isn't a bad thing. Mm-hmm. Especially if they all communicate, work together, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, you're right.
I feel like that's the goal. Like do that and have it all in one building and own the building. And just like you could go to every floor, that would be like a different company of mine and like check on it, Just come in Monday through Friday, 5 different companies and see how they're doing.
Interesting. So is that what you're doing? You're coming in Monday through Friday still?
No, of course not. It's a half day. I'm just going to... I'm the owner. I can just take my check and leave.
You're right. That's why I was just curious.
I would also probably like just have like a ridiculous office where I just play games. Like people would be like, think I'm working really hard. I'd just be like playing Minecraft. Like,
sweating furiously while you do this. And someone's like, are you okay? And he's like, I'm working here. And you're screaming at people, you're fired. It'd be good.
Yeah. That's why I'm right on the precipice of releasing this thing that will like hopefully be really successful. I've worked with it long enough that in the beginning I didn't have any faith in it. Like I thought it was going to like ruin me financially because it would like make the worst trade over and over and over and over again. And within minutes I'd see my account balance go to nothing. But now I see the values that it's producing and I'm thinking like I'm stupid for not doing this earlier. Like figuring it out now, like I feel like I'm old and young at the same time.
Have you traded with your own money yet? With the bot?
With the bot, no.
Are you going to?
It's happening next week.
Ooh.
It's the big moment. It's the...
Scandal.
Yeah.
It's your own money. That's where it gets serious, right? That's like legit.
Yeah, it's huge.
Put your money where your mouth is. That's kind of interesting. Are you also... Like, what's the idea? Who's it sell to? The everyman company? Are you hoping just some company buys you and goes, hey, this is great, we're going to buy it?
They could buy the website, but I don't think I'd ever sell like the algorithm. Like if you want to, like I guess my goal for like a separate revenue stream would be people subscribing, and then you'd get ad revenue from another exchange that would say like, oh, there's a trade available now. It's like click here to trade on Fidelity or Schwab or Binance or crypto, whatever. I feel like that is the way to make it a business, like a standard traditional business, but I don't know that I need that. Like I probably will make enough money, hopefully through the algorithm, that I don't have to lean on anybody. Yeah.
Advertisement shit. Interesting.
Yeah.
What's it? You mentioned something before we started where it was like you've been working on this for 10, 15, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like you work on it as a habit, as something you just do. Mm-hmm. It's like you don't really feel joy from doing it. It's just something it's a big project. Big projects require you to do tedious check-ins, tedious updates. Merging doing all sorts of stuff, merging things, debugging. Fixing things, going back, debugging, going back, rollbacks, rewriting. So at this point, you've said to me that you actually feel good about it?
Yeah, it's been like 2 years of, I mean, there's little tiny ups and downs, but like you can't really claim victory during any of those. And it's so much ahead of you that you think it's probably not going to happen. And then we've done it so long that when it does happen, you're kind of just like, yeah, it was supposed to happen a long time ago. Like you feel like you've done it too long by the time you're finished. So you're just like, I guilt myself for not having done this like 5 years ago, because maybe it was possible 5 years ago, and I probably would have made a whole bunch of money already. But I don't think you can look at it that way at all.
Here's a weird thing. Like, you can't be ahead of yourself in the moment.
Yeah.
You can't picture what it's like when it does work. Let's say it is going to work, and that's fine. That's awesome. That's seriously ridiculous. You can't create that motion before it happens. You can't talk about how it makes you feel before it happens. Is that weird?
Yeah, it's I've been catching myself this week with expectations of it working and working extremely well, and not like the 5-year plan doesn't hinge on this, but it would be nice to have that extra money to make sure that I can like do those businesses, build my empire and all that stuff.
Do any people who do a podcast with you get first dibs on talking and maybe taking advantage of this?
100%.
Now you're talking. Now you're talking.
You don't know how many podcasts I have, though.
That's a good point. Anyway, good luck with your What the Famicon. He got the link.
And buy like, you out of the other podcast. I'm sorry, Nick. Like, your place is insured by lots of money that you'll never appear on the podcast again.
I'm sorry. You are cut.
I'm buying all your friends.
And I'm buying everything you've ever done. Yeah. So that's cool.
Yeah, but there was a moment last night where there was like the final, like one of the final blocks I put in place. I hit the button and it worked. And then like I felt emotion for the first time in a long time that like it was there. It was to a point where I could probably just be like remove some of the roadblocks and just like it would go.
Let it go, but you were like, I gotta follow protocol.
The weird thing is that I could set it to probably run indefinitely. I think about this when I'm like, if I were to ever die, like I think that the bot would still be going. And I imagine that my wife would be contacted by some exchange saying, your husband has X amount of money.
Several $1,000 just sitting here. What would you like to do with it? Oh my God.
But that's one of the things it's a weird lineage type of thing, because you could have all of these things running. Do you think all the programmers out there that like built like websites, like if the website is still like Yahoo from 1999 or whatever you want to call it, like do you think they still look at their like widget and go like, it's still alive? Like their app is still in the store.
Get sick of it? I don't even know. They have to be like, this is insane.
It's like the guy who invented the pop-up.
Oh, the pop-up?
The pop-up. Yeah.
God bless him. God bless his soul.
Yeah.
I almost was about to look it up to be like, who made the pop-up? Because I hate that guy. But he's making some good money, right?
I forget what the original reason was. I have to...
No,
Ethan Zuckerman.
Oh.
I want to know why. Who, what, where,
Is
when.
it weird? Another Zucker is in like the forefront of technology. Is it because their names get called last? Is that why you are
I think
into technology?
so.
Is that it?
You're waiting for your turn and plotting. I'm going to take these acronyms down.
Son of a bitch. Ardverkson? You think you love Ardverk?
Swedish?
Ardverkson?
Ardverkson?
That's it. A-R. That's a good one.
E?
So, what's it feel like to complete something? Because technically it's not complete, but it's almost complete.
I'm just imagining all the time
like,
that I'll get back. Like, I've built up all that. So, like, programming from 8:30 until midnight is draining. It's physically tiring. But you kind of adjust to it. And I wake up at like 6:30 every day. So I get 6.5 hours of sleep. And I'm kind of used to it. I guess other people, maybe they have cushier lives. And then when they hit these like little tiny bumps, they like look destroyed. But like you can't, like if I sleep 4 hours, it probably isn't that much different. Like I
right,
could
you're like, I could survive.
Yeah.
I can be like, okay, I programmed extra this night, but it's not a big deal. I lived.
Yeah. You know exactly what I mean because you destroy yourself doing this podcast every night because you are an hour later.
Some people would say that. Some people would say that.
Yeah, but you're chugging. Yeah.
Keep going. Keep going.
So there's an element there that like I've beaten myself down so much that I think it's the classic quote. There's the sweet. It's not as sweet without the sour. So.
You're absolutely right. So the amount of suffering you do kind of equates to the amount of joy you'll get upon completion of a project?
Yeah, I think so. I feel like that time will open up and then I could do other things and I'll have the energy and focus and
what
I can
would you
control
do?
my emotion.
I don't even know what you would do with the extra time.
That's the best part is that the possibilities are endless.
No, it's the worst part. So I talked with a coworker today. He was like, yeah, I love playing Zelda Breath of the Wild. And I was like, oh, me too. He's like, it's just so tedious. And I was like, what do you mean? And I got into a conversation with him. And when he gets half an hour free, he's a dad. He barely make ends meet. Difficult situation. He hates his girlfriend. Hates everything. And I was like, good job on you, Pampa. Anyway, he was like, I can barely play the game because every time I boot it up, it's like, it's a process. I got to remember where it was.
Make progress,
buttons, whatever. He's like this. He's like, I rub my head like this. He does the temple press. 2 fingers on each side of his forehead. And I was like, oh, no, it's a cool game. You'll like it. And he's like, yeah, but I get like 20 minutes. And it's like by the time 20 minutes is up, I've just acclimated myself to the game. I found my free time. And I was like, that's a good point because A, you're not used to free time. B, you love video games, but I mean, in a busy schedule now, I have a slot free from 8:45 p.m. to 9:15. We're gonna play video games, okay? And in your heart, you're like, I like video games, but I didn't know if I wanted to play from 8:45 to 9:15. It seems like a bit of a.
It's like you have to sign in and then check out when you're done.
Oof.
Please put the game back in its holster.
Yeah, please put it back. And what if you didn't feel like playing at that time? Like you're like, I just wanted to fucking unplug, unwind. But this is the only time you had to play the game. So you have to plug in, clock in, play the game, and have fun. You're like, you're playing. You're like, this is terrible. But it's a good game. So you're like, this is okay. It's weird what happens with your free time as you get older, I find.
Yeah.
So what do you think? I mean, what's your free time going to be like when you have it? I don't know.
I'm going to play Breath of the Wild, maybe. No, I have multiple projects that are lined up. So I'm going to start working on that.
What are they? They sound like work projects.
Part of it is going to be work because I need to get through the next 3 months of the kind of startup-ish company that I work for. And the other one is a website. I need to finish the website portion. And then I want to do the YouTube stuff, do this, and do our Predators podcast.
Ooh,
Predators.
Good podcast.
I need to post that. I need to make a little
bot that does that. They all sound like work, though. Are you?
It is very much
delineating work and free time to do more work.
So there's going to be a valley there So this brings me back to like college. College, I don't know what happened in like 2 years. We just like I had so much ridiculous fun, and then the end like that's 5 years of college. So the fifth year of college, I had time, and it was like we moved off campus. It was in a house with my buddies, and it was extremely chill. And then I started playing like games again because I hadn't like played video games.
The internet was getting very much used by one individual in your house. We won't even get into it.
Yeah, but I played BioShock. So this is an analog here. It's like BioShock I got into so much that I felt a part of that world, and I haven't felt that like escapist deep like love of some other like media or movie or video game in a long time, and I want to get back to that, but you can't force it when you're too busy like your friend. Like
8:45 to 9:15.
Yeah.
If you weren't feeling it, it's not going to happen.
It just sours the whole thing. So I want to have that time. That's why I want to start my empire, so that between the hours of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., I could be playing a game if I fucking want to. And no one's going to be there to be like, you need to be doing, could you please? I'd be like, no, leave me alone. You work for me. You do your damn work. I'll pay you.
Keep in mind, maintaining these big businesses with big money dollars, it is effort. It is time.
Do you think like the big CEOs aren't like open up their phone playing Clash of Clans or Words with Friends or some other game? Do you think
I feel like they're not?
They don't take a dump and look at the highlights of the last.
They might.
Game,
they might there.
Game.
They might sort of watch some Flyers highlights while they poop. But I don't think
they do water cooler stuff where they just stand around holding their coffee and like checking out the office secretaries.
Not to be fatalistic, but I feel like they don't, because that personality type is not like into gaming or hanging out or chilling or doing nothing time.
I guess my question now is what is my personality type? Am I that CEO type? I don't think I think
you're transitioning, and I think you're getting a little bit into that, but I don't know that that's you forever.
Yeah, I don't know that's the final me. There is a weird
no, of course not. There's people like you and I are very fluid in our gender. But no, we're very fluid in that, like, we could become super workers, super partiers, super have fun, super musicians, everything. You like to dabble in every part of life.
Chameleons, yeah.
I agree. Because it's nice to try every part of life. It's not like we're stuck in our ways. We don't have the same haircuts. We don't have the same shirts we wear every day. I mean, this is a new shirt. Boom.
Yeah, good band.
But it's very much, are you going to change? Are you willing to do something different? And I think some people who do what you're talking about get stuck in that way and do not change and do not fulfill their happiness. So I'm not saying you will or won't. I'm saying you should be cognizant that you're building a lifetime pattern that doesn't equate itself to that. Like, you're like, oh, I'm going to build this empire. I'm going to do this with the empire. Well, with an empire, when you build it, you have to check on it. You have to baby it. You have to nurture it. You have to be a part of it. You have to like 8 to 5, where you talk about like, fuck no, I ain't going to do it. You got to check on it. You got to be a part of it. You got to make sure nobody's fucking up. You got to make sure everything's okay. Like, do you know what I mean? And
if you're selective,
of all people would be. You, of all people, would like to check on it, right?
But at that point, if you think about it, it's not about like programming it or like writing code. It's checking up on people.
Maintaining it.
It's more of your personality. So you would be like, oh, how you doing? How you doing there, Bob? Let's see how much. What are you coding today, huh? You'd be like, what you got? What are you doing? What are you coding? That's, I mean, how hard is it to really walk around the office and get a feel for how people are working? It shouldn't be that hard.
I'm not even saying it would be hard work, but I think it takes more time than you think.
100%. I mean, I think that's where some of these people fail, is that they pick a company or a job, or they're an entrepreneur in the wrong area that costs them too much time.
Is Jeff Bezos chilling somewhere on an island?
That guy's, something's wrong with that guy.
Is the dude who made the spaceship that goes up and goes down, lands?
Elon Musk.
Thank you. Elon Musk. Is he chilling every day?
That guy's also, he's got some issues, I think, too.
Is Bill Gates just chilling every day?
I think so, actually, maybe.
He might be.
He might
be
be.
the one that's having a good time. He's like hanging with supermodels and shit. And he's like, yeah, it's cool.
I feel like a Joe Rogan type is too.
Joe Rogan, yeah, I feel like he's chilling. He knows what he's doing.
I feel like some people hit it right, and then they know their limits, and they go, I'm gonna say no to that one.
Overstep my bounds. Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
you got to walk that tightrope. I think you have to be on top of it, but not on top of it. So to round it out, this algorithm, this bot, this thing you're creating, you want to release it in the wild? You want to let it go? You want to go crazy? You want to get real with it? Have you ever gone real with something like this before?
I don't think I've ever had real money on the line.
Is this the biggest thing in your life, kind of? Technically?
The biggest thing in my technical life, yes. There are moments when I interviewed somebody that brought up that they knew about a certain exchange and they were like dabbling in this. And I was like holding back the floodgates because I was like, I can't tell people at my work that I do this thing because it's going to be big and I don't want anybody else jumping on my wave.
Fair.
Or shitting in my wave. It's hard to get.
Shitting in the wave. Never heard that expression, but it makes sense to me. Someone shitting in your wave, trying to surf here, trying to get up on your board, and there's shit on the water. It's just carried in the wave. It's disgusting.
It's cresting.
Weird. It's cresting. The poop is cresting. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Anything you wanted to add to this project?
It's just one of those weird things where like I wasn't going to have this podcast tonight because I was going to fix something. And then I fixed it and I was like, it works. I was like, I need to test some things. I need to like just make a few tweaks here and there. And it feels really weird to say that like it's like less than a week away. Like it is on schedule as planned. I know what I'm going to do and it's going to happen. And I've been pushing like all these other things. Like I need to go to the dentist. I need to write a check to my parents. I need to do all sorts of random crap. And I'm just like, that's not nearly as important. It's the first time I've ever had like a thing. I'm busy. And if I feel like telling people you're busy, people don't buy it. Like you get so many bullshitters that say, I'm busy. I'm like, oh, don't bother. Like I legitimately, like if you waste 5 minutes of my time, like I will not get that 5 minutes back.
Busy.
You're pushing my bedtime back 5 minutes by like interrupting me. It feels weird.
Interesting.
That's going to end soon. I don't think people live like that.
I'd like to see what happens with your free time, but for the most part, let's wrap it up.
You got to go.
I got to go pee. Big time.
All right. You heard it from
Either
him.
way, we talked about some crazy stuff. We literally covered your secret project that's been going on for years.
Yeah, that no one will find out about.
We may or may not release this episode. Who knows?
Yeah. Maybe when I'm already successful and I have my empire and it could be a huge episode.
Could be. This could be great. Interesting.
I'm going to call it Amazon. Oh, shit. Or
Brazil.
Yeah. Yeah. Congo. Money glider.
Either way, it sounds interesting. Sounds very well thought out. It sounds perfect to a T. I hope it is successful.
Companies are built on less, I feel.
You're absolutely correct.
We work. Yeah, we're calling you out.
Well,
have a good night.
Thanks for joining us, folks. We like you. We like you a lot. We won't necessarily share any algorithms here, but if you click the like button, we will like that.
And make sure you check out our other podcast, Predators.
Crazy.
Good night.
Good night.